This is the start of a new Israeli settlement project in the occupied West Bank. The Geneva Convention says governments cannot build homes on occupied land. But it's been happening for decades, with only a finger wag from the U.S. Now, the Trump administration says the settlements will no longer be considered an impediment to peace.
The establishment of Israeli civilian settlements in the West Bank is not, per se, inconsistent with international law. We're not addressing or prejudging the ultimate status of the West Bank. This is for the Israelis and the Palestinians to negotiate. International law does not compel a particular outcome nor create any legal obstacle to a negotiated resolution.
Within minutes of the announcement, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu expressed his gratitude.
People of Israel, this is a historic day and another great achievement to our policy. After President Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, recognized our sovereignty over the Golan Heights, the U.S. administration has now put an end to the lie that settlements are illegal. I thank President Trump and I thank Secretary of State Pompeo.
The Palestinian Authority is outraged by the decision.
Israeli colonial settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories, including East Jerusalem, are not only illegal under international law, they are war crimes. And the statement of Mr. Pompeo, the Secretary of State of the United States, is absolutely rejected and must be condemned.
The Trump administration has yet to unveil its long-awaited peace plan for the region, which the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has been working on since 2017. It's also set to give Israel more than $3 billion in foreign assistance next year. But now that it no longer considers Israeli settlements as illegal, what leverage does it have to bring Israel to the negotiating table?
It's sort of beside the point, because the Trump peace plan is not really a peace plan in the traditional sense. In fact, we are seeing the plan being implemented as we speak. The plan is about Israeli control over all of Jerusalem. It's about removing occupation from our lexicon and from any type of consideration. It's about normalizing the Israeli settlements on a permanent basis. And it's about doing away with the idea of a sovereign Palestinian state.
President Donald Trump is less than a year away from possible re-election. For his devout evangelical Christian voting base, Israel is a key policy issue. And while it may not make or break his campaign, it's certainly another foreign policy first he can point to. Yasmine el Sabawi, TRT World, Washington.
Let's get more on this now from Shai Franklin, the former executive director of the World Jewish Congress American Section. He joins us from New York. Thank you for joining us on the program. I want to ask you first about what do you think is the motivation for this decision and also the timing of this decision by the Trump administration?
I think your report laid it out very well. In addition to President Trump's own popularity and approval ratings and running for re-election, there's also impeachment hearings going on last week and this week, public hearings. And a lot of the emphasis of the Republicans in those hearings is on some made-up kind of, with no evidence, idea of some scandal from when Obama was president. If you note people look at the statement by Secretary Pompeo yesterday, he went to great effort to emphasize somehow that this was a reversal of an Obama decision. President Obama, at the end of his term in office, authorized an American abstention on a non-binding UN Security Council vote regarding the West Bank and East Jerusalem. But the policy it's not even a policy, it's a legal opinion based in international law that the settlements are inconsistent with international law, particularly the Fourth Geneva Convention, is long-standing since 1978 and also effectively since 1967. But the emphasis on Obama, I think, is also to detract from the impeachment hearings against President Trump. Also, Prime Minister Netanyahu is still trying to eke out a coalition. He's competing with Gantz, with Benny Gantz from the center left, and the Gantz has one more day tomorrow to conclude his effort to form a coalition. He's trying to do it without Netanyahu, and this reminds the people in the room that Netanyahu is the indispensable gateway to the indispensable ally, which right now is Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to ask you. I would
mention one other thing is the European Union decision a few days ago to label products from Israeli settlements in the West Bank with a special label, that might also be part of the incentive now to do that. And it's hard to know exactly why now, but I think those are a few reasons.
I wanted to ask you more about how this benefits Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is facing the possibility of the end of his record-long rule. So how does this move boost his chances of staying in power? Because we've seen Netanyahu and Trump be pretty much buddy-buddy since Trump was elected.
After the last election, remember this, so there were 2 elections in a row in Israel. After the last election, President Trump made a statement that the relationship is with Israel, not with any individual. That was seen by many in Israel as President Trump basically not wanting to be associated anymore with Netanyahu because he thought Netanyahu was on his way out, whether it was because he had not won the election or because he's got these indictments looming. And this, I think, gives him another boost. The decisions that the Trump administration has taken on the embassy in Jerusalem, on recognizing the annexation of the Golan Heights, on cutting funds, direct funds to the Palestinians, cutting funds to UNRWA, which supports the Palestinians. All of these have been promoted by Netanyahu and encouraged by Trump's ambassador to Israel, Ambassador Friedman, as political endorsements of Netanyahu and of the settler movement. And as your previous guest, Dr. El-Gindi, said, there really is no peace plan. There's an annexation plan. And this is the closest thing to a green light for Israel to annex at least Area C, which is the majority of the West Bank, which includes basically almost all of the Jewish settlements.
All right, we're going to leave it there for now. Shai Franklin joining us from New York. Thank you for your time.